on editing our drafts for grammar and some punctuation pieces. And so we're going to create a cheat sheet of notes and things that we want to remember in our notebooks. In my camera, there we go. We're going to create a cheat sheet in our notebook. So I'm going to ask you to open to the workbook section of your notebook, and we're going to create a 3-column chart. One column you want to call rule, the next column you want to call example, and then the third column is going to be notes. You can fold your paper in thirds if you want. You could use a ruler or a straight edge to draw lines, or you could just leave it as is. And so the first rule that we want to be aware of when we go through and we edit our writing is going to be capitalization. So where it says rule, I'm going to write that I want to remember to capitalize the first word of each sentence. So I'm going to ask you to go ahead and add that into your rule book. I know it seems like something that is pretty obvious, but especially when we're typing or working on our drafts, it's easy to forget. And so that's one of the things that we want to go back and we want to check and make sure that we have done that. So an example of that might be once upon a time. And I'm going to show that that's something that I'm going to capitalize. I don't feel like I need to take any notes on that, so I'm going to leave that place blank, but I might come back and visit that a little bit later. So another rule that I want to make sure that I add is that I want to remember that when I'm writing anything and I'm going back and I'm editing for publication, that I want to make sure that I punctuate the end of sentences. So I'm going to go ahead and add that rule to punctuate the end of sentences. And for my example, it might be a super short sentence. She sang with a period. I could put, did she sing? Oops, did she sing with a question mark? I could put, she can really sing with an exclamation point. So I want to go back today in my writing and make sure that I'm choosing one of these end punctuations in all of my sentences. And then the other thing I want to make sure add to my list today too is I want to make sure that I capitalize any proper nouns. And remember, proper nouns, oops, and just in case you forgot, proper nouns are specific names of people, places, and things. So any place in my story where I might use a name like Mrs. Taylor, I want to make sure I capitalize. If I'm talking about the name of a state, I want to capitalize it. If I'm talking about a favorite television show or the day of a week, I want to capitalize that. So go ahead and make sure that when you are editing for punctuation today that we have the first letter of each, or the first word in each sentence capitalized, that you have end punctuation at the end of your sentences, and you might take some time to go back and double check and make sure that it's the right end punctuation. Like, do you really need to have an exclamation point maybe instead of a period? And then go through and make sure that you've capitalized any proper nouns, any specific names of people, places, or things. And we'll continue to add to this checklist as we learn more about grammar and punctuation and as we experiment with different kinds of writing this year.